This is the Titanium Fitness Podcast, your sanctuary for physical strength, mental clarity, and empowerment. With your host, Chuck Beckham. Individuality matters. Our commitment goes beyond exercise. We're here to see you thrive inside and outside the gym. Now, on to the podcast.
Hello, friends and family. We have a co-host today, Dominic Bellistry, and our special guest, Emily Page. Emily, thank you for being here with us today.
Sure.
So tell us about your background. Where are you from? What do you like to do? You know, just kind of a little bit of history.
So grew up in the Midwest. My parents started in Kansas, was born in Kansas, kind of moved throughout the Midwest. Went to high school in Liberty, Missouri, just north of Kansas City. Went to college at Missouri State, back when it was SMSU. And then ended up in Houston, Texas for about 11 years, working at Rice University. And that's where my son was born. And after about 2 years being really far away from family, we moved back here to St. Louis. So my husband is from St. Louis, and that's kind of where we wanted to be, closer to family.
Awesome. Yeah. What's your occupation currently?
So I am a health promoter. So I lead our wellness initiatives at WashU. So I work in human resources and support our faculty and staff.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. This is a perfect show for
I know it is. Well, and it's funny, people who do this for a living, by no means are we perfect at practicing what we preach sometimes, so it's having an understand. And it's actually important to be empathetic and understand that everybody's got different situation and, different opportunities, different barriers. So, and I've been no different in that regard. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here. So let's talk about what happened when you were 22 years old.
Yeah. So in 2000, May 1st, 2000, it's actually an interesting story. May Day is May 1st, right? And a lot of people celebrate that holiday, May Day. And when I was young growing up, my mom and I would make flower arrangements, and we would go around and hang them on the neighbors' doors and you knock on the door, and then you hide and you watch them smile as they see the arrangement of flowers. So May Day was always kind of special when I was growing up. And then when I was 22, I had, leading up to when I had my 22nd birthday, I was very active. I was actually majoring in dance as an undergraduate, so I was constantly in rehearsals and really pushing my body, and in some ways maybe pushing it too much. Sometimes dancers have a mentality of, you push through the pain, you push through the sickness, and you just show up to rehearsal no matter what. And so my senior year of college, I had been sick many times, actually ended up in the ER. I passed out in a rehearsal one time, hit my head, and when I went to the ER, they said, this is not normal for a 22-year-old to be having these issues, and particularly because, you're in otherwise good health. So went through several tests. I had to do a bone marrow biopsy, which is not a pleasant experience. They actually stick a syringe into the bone and pull out like part of your bone to look at the bone marrow. And that was how they diagnosed me with a rare form of leukemia at the age of 22, which, at that age, I was about to graduate from college. It was like hitting a brick wall at 90 miles an hour. And I was diagnosed on May 1st, 2000. So May Day took on kind of a different connotation. It was like, holy crap, ship's going down. And everything I had planned for my life kind of was put on hold. Luckily, because I was in good health, was physically active, my doctor told me that he had never seen a leukemia patient with a red blood cell count as high as mine. Normally, when you get leukemia, it affects all of your blood counts in a negative way. And because I was physically active, dancing every day, I was in a good place to tackle this leukemia. So I started treatment right away, went through the whole, chemotherapy. It was a pretty scary time because the type of leukemia I had, the treatments were still new and evolving. But I was fortunate that I was in the right place at the right time, and they were able to reverse and put the leukemia in remission within about 3 months. So I ended up going back to school and actually made a decision that I wanted to change my profession. And there was a brand new degree at Missouri State called Health Promotion and Wellness Management. And, I realized how important it is to take care of yourself, and your health is everything. So that's where I pivoted and was going to school to study that. Graduated, was offered a position at Rice University in Houston to lead their student wellness program, doing really well. I will say that, in my 20s, I think I started to take my activity levels for granted, was not as focused on being active as I had been in my younger age.
Now, when you say 20s, was that later 20s, like after?
Yeah, so, went down to Houston 24, new city, lots of new opportunities, very focused on my job. And just, my physical health and fitness was not as big of a priority at the time, I think. And you kind of become complacent, right? You lose sight of the things that you used to do. And then I got pregnant. And so the interesting thing is, at the age of 33, guess what date my son was born on?
May 1st.
May 1st.
Oh, wow.
2011.
Wow.
So it was very poetic, and I remember being in the hospital when he was born, and they knocked on the door, and my mom, actually, 'cause she wasn't able to be there at the birth, sent a flower arrangement and they hung it on my door, and she said, "Happy May Day."
Oh, that's sweet.
So it kind of,
Everything went full circle.
it did. And I always get emotional because it was really like, I hadn't even, you go into labor like 3 days before you actually give birth. So I didn't know what day it was.
Yeah.
And when I realized it was May 1st, I was like, okay, there is something in the universe.
So kind of going back, though, like when
Yeah.
you were first diagnosed on that first May 1st in 2000, what starts going through your head? I mean, what questions do you have? Because here you are, a 22-year-old healthy woman in college, you got the life ahead of her, and you get hit with this devastating news. Like,
Yeah.
what do you go through?
I mean, you do question, like, what's my life going to be? I remember I never really fully thought like I was going to die. I don't know, in my head, I never really thought, okay, I'm not going to make it. Because I didn't actually feel, there were times when I felt really, really like tired, but most times it was just kind of like, oh, this is a pain and I don't like this. And, I had been so used to being active and able to do anything I wanted to do that it just felt like, I didn't feel like myself. And, you take for granted things like driving a car. I for 3 months, 2.5 months almost, I couldn't drive a car. I couldn't, do the things that I really enjoyed doing. And I think at a young age, that gave me a better appreciation of, what's important. You don't want to take your physical health for granted. But that fades away. It fades away over time, and we start to think, okay, well, that's in the past. I don't need to worry about that anymore. And I'm fortunate that, knock on wood, I'll find some wood here, that I was essentially cured. The type of leukemia that I had and the treatment I was given, they said, as long as you remain in remission for 5 years, we consider that cured. And it's been, 20 plus years. So,
Wow.
So I've been fortunate that, I haven't had any.
How often do you get that check nowadays?
I don't have to anymore.
Okay.
I just go for my annual, wellness checks. They do your regular blood lab work. As long as everything looks normal, they don't worry about it. So.
But what you went through caused you to kind of have, I guess, a life moment change?
Yeah.
To where you wanted to help other people? Is that what kind of led to you changing your major?
Yeah. I think just an interest in understanding, what does a healthy lifestyle look like, and how do we, like I said, how do we prioritize our health, not take things for granted? And I was focused, in my early career on young adults because, again, I was a young adult when I was diagnosed. And, young adults, I think, tend to feel invincible. They don't really think that they have to continue to worry about health because they're young. And I think you can get away with, eating unhealthy and not exercising when you're young, but eventually that catches up with you. And I think for me, and having my son and, my job has gotten a lot more stressful over the last several years, I've realized how important it is to have, an opportunity to be active and take care of myself. It feels good. When you first start, maybe it didn't feel so good, right? It's like you have to kind of get past that initial sense of, okay, this is hard. I don't know if I can do this, but I know, Chuck, you've been hugely impactful in helping me kind of get through those times where, you've been very empathetic to say, yeah, today, maybe we take it a little easier, right? You showed up, that's what counts. But having now, that's really part of my routine, right, is to have that exercise. I always feel better afterwards. So even though my thighs might hurt after Dominic do lots of squats, but
It happens.
So, I have two questions for you.
Okay.
The first one is, how long were your symptoms of feeling fatigue before, you passed out? How long did that go? The symptoms go for before that happened?
I got sick. Yeah, I mean, my senior year, I remember in the spring of my senior year, I think it was January, February, I got really sick. And I remember having to miss some rehearsals. I was in a show. And yet somehow it wasn't sending off the alarm bells. It's like I didn't really pay close attention to it, but I was really tired. I remember I went to a dance conference in Wichita, and in between classes, I passed out, sleeping. I was so exhausted. And I got back from that conference, and I wouldn't say it was probably March or April. I was teaching a dance class at a local studio, a bunch of little girls. And I remember we were doing some stretches, and as I rolled up, I blacked out. And all I remember is waking up on the floor and a bunch of little faces in a ring over me looking at me like, what just happened? So I
Did you
think
hit your head or anything?
Yeah. And I got up, and I remember feeling a little dizzy, but, again, that mentality of you just keep pushing through. I finished the class, and then I called my mom. She's a retired nurse. And she immediately said, you need to go to the ER, get it checked out. That's not normal.
Wow.
So I went to the ER, and they did a bunch of tests, and they said, everything looks fine, except my white blood cell count was low, which they said, you need to follow up with your doctor about that. They said it could be, you just had a virus and your immune system is suppressed or whatever. But so I followed up with my doctor, and it was, April, I actually went home, saw the doctor. They did a bunch of tests. They did the bone marrow biopsy. And again, not really, I didn't think I fully understood what was happening. And then went back to school, and I got a phone call. I was actually on the phone as my boyfriend at the time, now my husband, walked into my apartment. And I'll never forget the look on his face. My parents had found out about my diagnosis about an hour or two before I did. They asked the doctor to call them first. And when they found out it was leukemia, they called my boyfriend and said, you need to go over to Emily's apartment. The doctor's going to call her and tell her what she has. And so he knew before I did.
Oh, wow.
And he walked in the door, and just the look on his face was devastation. So yeah, it was a crazy time. And I was just very fortunate that I, again, was otherwise healthy. I was in the right place at the right time. I had people telling me, this is not normal. You need to talk to your doctor. So I felt like I had this community around me that was really taking care of me.
Yeah, that's important. It's cool when people come together on a moment like that.
Yes.
My second question is, what does health mean to you?
Well, health is very multifaceted. And so to me, it's being able to do the things I enjoy doing. I enjoy being active. I enjoy taking trips with my family. So it's being able to pursue those things that are important to me. It's being able to do my job and show up to work every day. It's practicing, or developing habits where you have a positive outlook, trying to take care of my mental health and my physical health. They're all connected. And then I think you mentioned community. I mean, that is, to me, part of the health equation too, right? We're not alone. One of the things that I've really enjoyed about working out at Titanium Fitness is having a community, and whether it's a partner that I'm working out with or a group, it creates accountability, and I feel like if I don't show up, it impacts others. So I really think that the community part is key for health and well-being.
Yeah, that's really important to us, is having a good, culture.
Yeah.
I always say it's like we're Cheers. Everybody knows your name.
Right.
That's important.
It is
to me.
It is. Yeah.
Now, do you think going through what you went through at such a young age, because it sounds like every now and then throughout your life, your health comes back into play. Like you feel like you need to get healthy again.
Yeah.
Do you think that kind of stems from you having that time period where you lost your health?
Yes.
And you don't want to feel that lethargicness or that complacency about it?
Absolutely. And my family has had, we've kind of hit the lottery a couple times. Both my husband and my son have had life-threatening illnesses. And, every time that happens, it's like, you remember all that you have and sometimes take for granted. So I appreciate having that perspective. I think, again, having kind of exercise and fitness be a part of my routine helps me deal with things that come up. It makes me feel good to know that I'm taking care of myself, not just for my own benefit, but for my family as well. My husband and I both, we have one child, so obviously it's important that we stay healthy and take care of him. He's had some health scares at a young age as well. And I think even he has realized, the importance of taking care of himself. And he runs cross country, and, he's lifting weights now. He's going into the weight room in high school. So
cool.
He's excited about that. So, yeah, it feels like
he's in high school now?
He's 14. Mm-hmm.
What? Oh, my
gosh. He's
gosh.
a freshman. Yep. And so they're doing the weight room in between cross country and track seasons. And he came home the other day and he said, "Mom, I really like lifting weights." And I was like, yeah, it's fun.
It's fun.
So, yeah, it's cool. I'm excited for him, and I need to work on my husband a little bit, but,
Well, then you could do the family pass. It'd be perfect.
Right? That's exactly.
I know. You guys could all come in together.
Do it together, and we should.
And
You can make fun of them for being like, "Oh, your legs are sore."
Yeah, exactly.
I noticed, too, that, like families or couples that, work out together, it's like a special bond.
Yeah.
It's like you sweat together. I think it creates more love, too.
Yeah.
Well,
and he's my husband is very active with Scouts, so it is good to remember that you can be active in many different ways, right? So he's hiking and camping, and they do a lot of that together. So weightlifting is one of the ways that I enjoy, but I also I run as well, so I enjoy that piece of it and the cardiovascular benefits of that. I think it's important to be well-rounded and do things you enjoy. If you don't enjoy it, then you're not going to stick with it.
That makes me think, one of our previous guests, they did horseback riding, and that is a workout. Staying on the horse.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
Oh, my God. Talk about the inner thigh.
Inner thighs.
Oh, my gosh. Inner thigh and core, abs and glutes.
I bet.
And then, if somebody was to our audience that's listening to this right now, if they're struggling, getting started,
Yeah.
and, they're holding themselves back for whatever reason, what would you tell that person?
Start small. I committed to 1 day a week when we first started, and I thought, oh, maybe that won't be enough. But just starting with a small commitment, even if it's just 10 minutes getting out and taking a walk, you'd be surprised how, that if you can commit to something small and then achieve it, it feels good. It feels like, okay, I can do this. Even if it's not a big thing, and then it can grow from there, right? So. I think we tend to try and do too much too soon, and then we get discouraged.
Yeah, just getting started. That's honest. I tell people that's the hardest part.
Yeah. We
do consultations. I'm like, I tell people the first time here, I'm like, do you realize you just achieved the hardest thing? It's just showing up.
Right. Exactly.
And realizing I should be here because I will be a better version of myself.
Yeah.
And honestly, people tend to live longer when they're healthy.
Absolutely.
Right? When
and
your body's less inflamed.
You can find the reward in knowing that, you're building longevity and quality of life, for you and your family. To me, when I'm struggling, sometimes I'm like, okay, this is why I'm doing this. So knowing why you're doing it and kind of reminding yourself of that, is important.
So you ready for the fun part?
Okay, let's do it.
This has all been fun, but this is a little bonus question. So
okay.
What was the most embarrassing moment for you in the gym? And it could be like, from when you started to now. You probably haven't told anybody about it yet, but.
I feel like at one point I tried to put the squat machine, like the dumbbells on, and I think I didn't know what I was doing, or I couldn't reach something, and somebody walked over and said, I'll take care of that. And I felt a little bit like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing here. But I don't know, Chuck. I don't know if I've had an embarrassing moment in the gym. I'm trying to think. I feel like, and this is not like trying to brown nose, but I feel like I've been very supported in the gym. I've always had people helping me, guide me, so I didn't feel like I, fall on my face or anything.
Well, good. You didn't.
Yeah.
You haven't had one yet. That's good.
Yeah.
That's great. You mean never, so with good coaching. Okay, what's the most funniest moment you've ever had in the gym?
Funniest moment.
Or memorable.
Mm-hmm. Trying to think of a good one. Gosh, I know Nancy and I, when we've been working out together, we've had a few chuckles, but I don't know. You keep us in stitches sometimes. I've enjoyed just the banter back and forth in our workouts. I'm having a hard time with these questions, Chuck. I can't remember.
They're supposed to be funny, isn't that funny? That's the funny part.
I can't.
The
think
funny
of it.
questions are the hardest.
Funniest time, yeah.
Well, maybe
I'm too serious when I come to the gym.
I know you got that eagle eye look on your.
I'm like, get it done.
I got to work out.
No, I mean, every time I come to the gym, I walk away with a smile. I always feel like I've accomplished something, and I found the benefit of it. So I'm not laughing at you, or I'm happy. I'm smiling and feeling good about it. So.
Awesome. Well, Emily, thank you so much for being a guest today.
My pleasure.
I learned more about you than I knew 30 minutes ago.
Right? There you go.
So this was fun. And any final thoughts, Dominic?
No, it was just great. I think it's neat how sometimes when we find tragedy in our lives, it can kind of put us on a new pathway, though, like with your whole career.
Yeah.
I mean, if where would you be if those things didn't happen with you? I mean, look at your whole career's evolved over thing that happened.
Yeah, I do believe that these things happen for a reason, and may not always realize it in the moment, but looking back, it put me on an important path. Yeah, I probably wouldn't. I mean, who knows? If I tried to pursue a professional dance career, it might be living off a food stamp somewhere, because that doesn't pay much. So
We're on a cruise ship.
Right.
In Aruba or something, right? So
my knees are shot. Yeah.
Well, thank you. That was a lot of fun, and we'll see you in the gym.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Titanium Fitness. Connect with us. Call 314-582-3872 or email titaniumfitnessllc@gmail.com. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram. Strengthen your body, strengthen your mind. Titanium Fitness.